2015 AP Micro FRQ number 1. It is a profit maximizing firm in a perfectly competitive constant cost industry earning a positive economic profit. Let's look at A. Is the market price greater than, less than, or equal to the firm's? The market and the firm's price would be equal because the firm is a price taker. That'll save you a lot of time. Know that. So the easy answer for that question. Draw a correctly labeled side-by-side graph for the market and for the firm showing the market price and quantity labeled QM/PM and the firm's quantity labeled QF. So just an easy side-by-side graph of the market, supply and demand. Here's our market. Price and quantity on the axes, don't forget that. Price and quantity, straight across, price taker. So your Mr. DARP curve is that price, your marginal cost. Now, they are saying that we're making positive economic profits. So here's profit max, that's the quantity, QF. We know we've got an ATC that is below the price. The price has to be greater than our ATC so that we have positive economic profits. All right. Let's do the PM and the QM. Make sure we label everything correctly. The firm's average revenue curve, we've already done it. Mr. DARP is average revenue also. So labeled AR, we got it. We're golden. The firm's average total cost labeled ATC. We've got it. We're done. The area representing total cost. A bit tricky there, right? We tend to know that total revenue is price times quantity. So here's our price. All of this would be total revenue. But to find total cost, we're going to go where QF is. We're going to go straight up, tick, 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 tick. Where we hit that ATC, we're going to bounce straight to the left. We recognize that all of this is profit. This down here has to be what we call total cost, right there. All of this rectangle is total revenue. And obviously, if your total cost, or could I say total revenue is greater than total cost, you would make a profit. Total revenue, total cost right down here on the bottom. So I think we're golden for that. If one firm in the market were to raise its price, what would happen to its total revenue? Understand they are price takers. So if a firm, and think about the characteristics of perfectly competitive firms. There's a large number of firms. We're talking thousands. They all sell the exact same product. All their products are homogeneous or homogeneous, meaning that they're all exactly the same. So if there's 10 shops on your street and one of them decides to raise the price of its cup of coffee, well, you're just going to walk next door, right? Because they're all selling the exact same cup of coffee, and there's a ton of them all in your neighborhood. So total revenues would go to 0, and we would just explain that as they are price takers, if one firm was to raise its price, it would lose all of its customers, and its total revenue would drop to 0. All right, now suppose the market is in long-run equilibrium. The government gives a lump sum. So let's just draw it in long-run equilibrium just so we can see it. I think you guys probably know it. But again, here's our market. Here's our firm. In long-run equilibrium, we just recognize, there's our Mr. DARP, marginal revenue, demand, average revenue, and price, marginal cost. To be in long-run equilibrium, our ATC just has to touch that profit maximizing point. There's our quantity. Don't forget our Q's and P's, P's and Q's. All right, there's our ATC. Now we are in long-run equilibrium. If the government gives a lump sum subsidy to each firm producing in the industry, indicate whether each of the following will increase, decrease, or remain the same. So, firm's quantity in the short run, please explain the firm. Understand that lump sum subsidies or taxes are thought of like fixed costs in that they don't affect the marginal cost curve. If they don't affect your marginal cost, your quantity won't change. So they're not going to affect, lump sums do not affect marginal cost, so marginal cost does not change. If marginal cost doesn't shift left or right, quantity will not change. So we will explain that quantity will remain the same. And we would explain exactly that, in that lump sums do not affect your marginal cost curve. So if marginal cost is not affected, no change in quantity. But what would happen to the price and quantity in the long run? Now, that's a bit trickier. Understand, right, that when they start giving out money, though, lump sum subsidies, now all of a sudden these firms will be making profits. In the short run, if firms are making profits, we know that in the long run, this is going to attract other firms into the industry. So firms will enter. When firms enter, the supply would increase or shift to the right. The price would be driven down, and then we'd go back to some kind of long-run equilibrium. But in the long run, we could see that the market price would decrease. The price would go down, and the quantity in the long run would be more. We could shift that supply if we had to, right? Showing that quantity increasing and that price going down. All right, and when we would know that our long run equilibrium would. That we would have, sorry, I had a brain fart there for a second. The idea is that the price and quantity would also increase. And we would explain it just with this right here. In the short run, when there's profits due to the lump sums, in the long run, firms would enter, driving down the price and increasing the quantity. All right, guys, take care. Bye.